And we're on. Hello, welcome to podcast episode 144 of Rope-a-Dope Boxing, where the two Daves, yes, two, not one, he's back by popular demand. The two Daves are back once again. We're back together again to bring you a review of everything that went down in the weekend of the wonderful world of boxing. If you're new to the channel, where's me? Here we go. Where's my thumbnail? If you're new to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, and subscribe to either YouTube or Spotify. David boy, you're back with me, mate. You're not going to do any sort of Houdini acts this week, are you? You're not going to be called away to a night shift or anything like that. You are back for the foreseeable. Well, for the last hour or so anyway. But
I am all yours, mate. Like I say, last week wasn't for the want of trying. My God, I was walking. I got in the car. I was trying to find slip roads to carry on doing the episode. It was a fucking disaster, man. Absolute disaster. Then I was trying to get back in, but I didn't want to ruin the episode by keep cutting in. And I was talking to you, and you were going, it was a delay. Yeah, I can hear you. I was thinking, this episode is awful.
That's our most popular episode, by the way. Just...
it would be, wouldn't it? It fucking would be, because I'm hardly in it. But yeah, disaster, mate. Yeah, listen, I had a few bits going on with. I was working night shifts and stuff. It was only for like 10 shifts. It's done now. I'm back in the land of the living. Yeah, I'm back in the land of the living. Had a bit of a bad weekend with my dad. Obviously, anyone that listens to this show regularly will know my dad's been ill for quite a while, and we have these sort of moments where we think that it could be it. It was another one of them. He had sepsis, and we were told 24 hours if he doesn't react to the antibiotics, this would be the end. And like fighting it, he's managed to pull through, and he's home now. Finally enough, he got home today. Yeah, the antibiotics worked, and so currently he's fighting cancer, which he's been doing that for about a couple of years. So he's having a good fight at that, and he's defeated sepsis and pneumonia. So he's on big. He's fighting the big ones. You know what I mean? He's in the last level of Street Fighter, and he's winning. So
yeah, because last time we said he's in the championship rounds. He's at the championship rounds now. So we're talking
he's booking another fighting. He's booking another fighting. Do you know what I mean? We're thinking it's the end of the career, right? He's got another couple of fights on box rec. He's got TBAs put in.
TBA, yeah. Doesn't
So yeah, like I say, this one was a close call. You can laugh about it now, but this one was a close call. And funny enough, I was on a night shift. I was in the fucking tunnel at Heathrow when I got the phone call. So it was a bit of a sketchy one, that one. But yeah, he's some boy. So he's, as they say, live to fight another day. So that was my weekend in a nutshell. So yeah, it's the nature of the beast, mate. When you got parents that have got terminally ill, and this is like and they're 2 hours away, which is a fucking nightmare. Because I get a phone call, I'm always like I'm on the clock, So it's but good news. He's back home now. He's where he wants to be, and there'll be another episode at some point. But at the minute, he's in a good place. So that's good, mate. What did you get up to the weekend? The girls have got back at football now. Your son and all that, they're all back in the game. Stourbridge are going. We're sponsoring about 10 teams now in the lower leagues of women's football.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because we have got a new sponsor. I'll message her. I'll speak about it in a minute. She literally messaged me to ask about the podcast. I put a load of stuff out on Instagram today, kind of promoting Isla still, and promoting the podcast and things like that. So she hasn't got back to me yet. So if there's anything between now and the end of the episode, I'll give her another massive shout out. But yeah, mate, the football's back. Kids football are back up. I won't bore everyone too much with it. The lads playing in Division 2 now. Play 2, 1-2, so they're holding their own, doing very, very well. Daughter had a weekend off already. They just kicked off and they've had a weekend off already. Her team couldn't get enough players together, so she had a bit of training. I actually went hardcore as well this week, Dave. Not only did I go and watch the Stourbridge women, my boys' team, I went and watched the under-18 Stourbridge girls. I sacrificed sleep for it as well. When I watched them,
you know what? You're like the Ty of women's football. Remember Ty from Arsenal Fan TV? That fella, he's got the Arsenal headphones. He's head to toe in Arsenal. So he goes to the women's, he goes to the under-18s, the fucking under-10s, the school kid. He goes to every game. You're the female version of him.
I've got the bug, mate. Now it's back on. I've got the bug. Went to watch the first team yesterday. Isla was there, our sponsor, because their game was cancelled through illness and things like that. So I was having a good chin wag with her. Done really, really well. They've got a new manager. The local derby against Kidderminster. And see, a lot of our old players play for Kidderminster now. I remember I mentioned it in the FA Cup last season. They beat us again, unfortunately, but the girls put a lot of effort in. Got a very, very young squad, a lot of new players still building. So that was fantastic. But mate, because I sacrificed sleep on the Saturday, I kind of like doubled up if you want. So on the Sunday, I let the podcast down in terms of my drinking stories. I had 2 pints. That was it.
What?
2 pints. I was in bed for 8 o'clock. I weren't pissed. I couldn't manage it.
Let's cut episode 144 now.
Mate, I couldn't manage it. I bought myself 4 cans of Red Stripe. I only drunk 2, so I'm making up for it on the pod. There you go. So yeah.
So you weren't rough today then, no?
No, I was fresh as a daisy, man. And also, my voice is just getting back into gear. Luckily for the podcast, so I was screaming my fucking head off yesterday for the girls. Each and every one of them. Come on, Stour. Come on, Erin. Come on, so and so. Oh man, I was. Yeah, it's like a pig in shit. So yeah, I had a good weekend, mate. Football-wise, ups and downs, but obviously not as hectic as yours. But it's great news that your dad's on the mend, and you said he's ready for another episode. And I hope that episode is episode 144 boxing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I say fortunately, we're going to start on a bit of good news in terms of boxing. Well, I thought it was good news. You thought it was good news from what we saw in Vegas at the weekend. But unfortunately, we're going to have to start on some more bad news.
Yeah.
You messaged me earlier, mate. You wanted to do a tribute, so I'll leave it over to you because you was we've all been fans, but you was a huge fan. So I'll take it over to you, mate.
So yeah, what Dave's alluding to is the passing of the one and only, and it was the one and only, and there'll only ever be one. You know, there will never be anyone like him. He'll never have the support like him. No boxer will ever have what he had. And it was the sad passing of Ricky Hatton. So the news broke yesterday morning that a body had been found in his house. A 46-year-old. It turns out that it's Richard Hatton, and I just wanted to just have a couple of minutes just to chat about Ricky Hatton, what he brought to boxing, what he done for many people, and a working class kid, always had his feet on the ground, amazing fighter, changed the landscape of British boxing like we've never seen before. When he went abroad, everyone followed him. Funnily enough, I was lucky enough to, I didn't actually meet myself. I was in his vicinity. My son had a photo with him. I've got the video, which I posted on my Instagram, my Twitter page yesterday, or the X page yesterday, of him singing Oasis. And I got quite a lot of likes and shares with that one, which he should do, because that was how he would be remembered. Life and soul of the party, always made time for people. And it's just a sad day sad time, sad day, sad week, sad year. This one's hit me hard. Like I say, I was a massive fan of him. I mean, I've watched boxing my whole life. In the 90s, I was a kid in the 90s, but so I dipped in and out. I watched Nigel Benji Eubanks, I knew all them, but I was an adult, a young adult in the 2000s when Ricky Hatton was at his height of his brilliance. And that's when my love for boxing, which has now gone on for 15, 20 years. We do a podcast on it, and it was all down to him. I absolutely loved it. I got to see him live at the XL Centre against Ray Oliveira, which was the fight before Costa d'Azur. So that's an amazing thing. He won in round 10. So I did actually get to go and see him live, which was great. If it was nowadays what he was fighting now, and I did say this to Jay from Jay's Fight Talk yesterday, I'd have loved to have been podcasting when he was an active fighter in his pomp. That would have been amazing to cover his fights and do what we do here on his fights. And so he just went on to have a fantastic career. The WBU belt is a strange one, because that was there for probably about 6 years.
I was going to say that, yeah.
But he did do it the legit way when he beat Costa d'Azur, and that was some win. That was an amazing win. And I had a bit of an Aussie who I was working on the site with, that Ricky Hatton, when he had Costa d'Azur, for obvious reasons. And when I came back in on Monday after the Saturday, I'd never see him again. So that was a good one. But I didn't care anyway, because Ricky Hatton won, and I remember that night like it was yesterday. It was an amazing night, amazing fight, and it was just no one was going to ever deny Ricky that night. But even in his early career, I used to watch him on Sky Sports when he fought Eamon McGee. That was an amazing fight. He was cut, and he was susceptible to a cut, but he just brought everything, and he was just so lovable. No one can have ever a bad word said about him. No one. He always made time for people, and that was evident when I see him in Tenerife. He went out of his way to have a photo with everyone. There was never a no. It was never a problem. And he was a true man of the people. And that's why I wanted to start this episode with that today, to say that he won the hearts, and he will always have the hearts of the fans, boxing fans, and it's not even boxing fans, just the general public in Great Britain. He was an amazing fighter, amazing man, husband, father, grandfather, and it's a sad loss, and that it really affected me, and I know it affected a lot of other people, including yourself. it was just a real shock. A 46-year-old is no age. He everyone, he battled his demons. He was quite upfront with that. And he's very good advocate for mental health. He spoke out, and I'm sure him, along with Tyson Fury, because they've done it together, have helped a lot of people, especially men who struggle and still do. It's, suicide is a big thing amongst middle-aged men, young men who don't feel like they can talk, but they can. And these two guys, again, Tyson Fury and Ricky Hatton, are advocates for that. And I hope that it carries on and spreads the word, because there is still too many men that don't feel that they've got another option. And yeah, he will be missed. And yeah, again, there's only one Ricky Hatton, and God bless his family and friends. And yeah, it was amazing. And it's heartbreaking for everyone. And I'm heartbroken about it.
I can tell by your voice, mate. Yeah. I don't think I could trump that monologue there, mate. It was very nice, very touching. The Vegas trips as well. I think, don't get me wrong, Anthony Joshua in the modern era has changed British boxing for the stadiums and everything else that goes along with it. But fan base, he was called the Hitman, but really he was the People's Champion. 30,000 he took over to Vegas. People talk about the Mayweather and the Pacquiao fights, but they kind of leave out the Malignaggi fight. That was in Vegas. Yeah. People forget that was in Vegas. He went over to Malignaggi, was in form, and he stopped him. And then he obviously went and got that Pacquiao fight on top of that. But it's sad. I say, mate, I can't trump what you say. The Costa Jew fight back in the day, I think back then I even thought it was a step too far against the talented Aussie. Retired. Was it the 9th or 10th round? He retired in the ending. Watching him before the box office. Do you remember his fights, but pre-box office? He always used to have a disabled kid in the ring with him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I think that kid passed away.
I always wonder what happened to that boy.
Yeah, I think he passed. I might be wrong, but I think he did. Yeah. That summed him up, though. That was exactly what he was. He would always go out his way. You'd see. I think there's a video posted today from only a couple of days ago of him posting a video about a kid who's being bullied.
And that's why he's the People's Champion.
Yeah,
always had time for people.
Always. And it's just a terrible loss. That is real terrible.
Yeah. And he was in training for was it a couple of months ago? We were speaking about him coming back and having an exhibition fight. Was it in December, either in Dubai or Saudi, wherever it was? So, obviously all our thoughts go out to his family and friends and everyone that knew him. So, R.I.P. Ricky Hatton, mate.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. God bless.
Should we talk about something positive?
Yeah, please, mate.
Let's go, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Saturday night, the Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford. 168 undisputed belts on the line. Was Canelo going to be too big? Was the jump up in weight going to be too much for Bud Crawford? Even somebody as good as Bud Crawford, Dave? Or was it a time that Canelo was going to say, right, I've plodded along since the Golovkin 3 fight. I've won all these belts. It's time to show the world that there's a weight divisions for the reasons. Was it a step too far for Bud, Dave, on Saturday night?
No.
Was it fuck? Was it fuck? I've got to be honest, mate. I watched it live. I think we all watched it live. Thousands of people across the world on Netflix. Party of subscription. I think they've done a really good job all week. Netflix promoting this. They've done a kind of HBO series, their version. I was glued to it in the end. Yeah. Watched every episode of it. Loved what they've done with it. The production was fantastic on Saturday night. Terence Crawford walked out. How clever was this? Mariachi, our Mariachi bands were playing. The music was playing. The crowd were cheering for thinking it was Canelo coming out. Bud walks out. He's got like a Mexican kind. He's got some sort of guitar in a suitcase, dressed in kind of Mexican attire. And I heard somebody say on Twitter the other day, he's taking the piss out of. Well, not taking the piss. He's copying. What was that film? One Last Stand in Mexico or something. Yeah. Is it something? He's copying a film. Come out, but he looked relaxed, smiling. He didn't look nervous. All week, people have been saying, well, he's never been in this position before. Yes, he's a good fighter, but the crowd, it's too much for him. The occasion, it'll get to him. He'll freeze. All the kind of negativity towards him. I understand it. They're trying to sell something. I get it. But he looks far from that. Canelo walks out, black shorts on. That's got like a Mike Tyson vibe to it. Angry face. Whether he was pissed off because he's kind of taking the piss out of the Mexican heritage. I don't think he was taking the piss. I just think he's playing games. Comes in the ring, and then we go, right. I've got to be honest, Dave, my belly, I was nervous. Yeah. My big beer belly was fucking nervous because I wanted Bud to win, but I didn't want him to be kind of disgraced or show it was a step too far. early rounds, man, I thought Canelo done well. He's just targeted the body, and I thought it's only going to be a matter of time. He can't keep taking that punishment to the body. It wasn't a huge amount of punishment, but you can see Canelo now plods along, loads up, going to the body, to the right, to the left, pushing Bud back a bit. Didn't affect him whatsoever. Bud showed him no respect whatsoever. No. And obviously, we will break down into more to the fight because I don't want to take all the airtime. But until then, I thought Canelo was doing okay. Before we start talking about getting lighted up and where the class and the eliteness comes in, your thoughts, mate, fight week and then obviously the ring walk and what you saw the first couple of rounds.
I'm not a massive fan of build-ups and stuff like that. You know that. I don't read too much into it, but I'm with you. I did actually watch them episodes on Netflix the week before, and I was right into it, and I enjoyed it, and I did get a buzz for the fight. And I said on last week's episode, when I done my little monologue thing that I sent to you, which is probably at the end of the episode there, that I never liked this fight before. I was never into it. I did think that I didn't like the fact that he was jumping up 2 ways. I did think it was going to be an issue. I thought all of that until fight week, and it completely spun 360 for me. I was up for the fight. I was really looking forward to it. I was indulged in the build up. I was watching bits and pieces, and trying to see if there was any chink in the arm. I was right into it. I watched it about half an hour after it ended, but I didn't watch it with anything. I didn't know the result, so I've watched it like it was live. I watched the ring walks. They went on forever, by the way. The mariachi bands and stuff. It went like also. It started off as a band over here, and then the next thing it moved over to somewhere else, and there was another band doing other bits and pieces. I mean, don't get me wrong. For what Tungle Turkey wanted and for the build up, fantastic. But for me, I was thinking, come on. But after about a couple of minutes, I was done with it. I wanted to see the fight. Enjoyed the ring walks. Loved that. Loved the sort of mind games from Terence Bud Crawford there with the guitar. I thought he was going to break the guitar and start playing it. When he did that. But and then the fight starts. For me, I'm with you. Bud Crawford didn't show no respect to his power. Didn't show no respect to his skills, and was more or less taunting him from the start. Every time he hit an half decent shot, he'd smile at him, and and I feel like he controlled the fight, the pace of the fight. He controlled the tempo of the fight. He almost maneuvered Canelo around the ring as where he wanted him to, because Canelo would just follow him and try and load up, and he would swing from right to left. Bud Crawford. What I like about Bud Crawford, and he's elite, and we know he's elite, and he does the same subtle things that Usyk does. He switch hits for starters, but he's not loading up. He's scoring shots. It's little shots in between the score, and he moves, and then he switches, and he does it again from different angles. And Canelo can't compute that. Canelo wants to stand there and fight, and if you stand there and fight with Canelo, that's where your downfall will be. So Canelo struggles with people with natural movement, with elite footwork. That's why he And even in the last, Bivol was the same. Bivol done the same to him. Mayweather always gets brought up, but Mayweather took him at the start, early in his career. Mayweather picked the timing for that. So yes, it was an elite win. Don't get me wrong, and he absolutely schooled him. But Mayweather picked that one perfectly. But yeah. So Terence, for me, and I put this in the group after. It wasn't even close for me. And I've got a little bit of a rant that I was going to say to you. That I was a little bit. I feel that Canelo came into this fight knowing he couldn't win. That I got that vibe from him. One, I've never seen him. He was too respectful, too nice, and even after, to me, it looked like he was a beaten man before the fight started. No, don't get me wrong. I know he trained and all that, and he would never come out and say it. And this is just my observation of it. Yeah. I've never known Canelo to show anyone as much respect as he did. So for me, it felt like he was already, he's coming to this fight. He's probably thinking, well, I'm getting 150 million, whatever. Brilliant, by the way. We'd all love that. But I honestly don't truly believe he thought he could win that fight. And I felt that from the first round. Now, and then again, Terence Crawford does what he does. He was swaying from side to side, subtle stuff, moving, throwing shots from angles. Throwing shots from angles that Canelo couldn't see. And Canelo was just trying doing that one to the body that he throws from a wide stance, and he was trying to get to the body. But and then after the first 4 or 5 rounds, I felt like it was becoming a little bit desperate. Canelo was getting frustrated. And Terence Crawford for me won more or less every round. I've got a little bit of a rant about the scorecards, man. I know we're going a little bit far ahead.
No, go.
We can jump back, but there's not a way in God's earth it was 115, 113.
No, it's a bit too close.
Even 116, 112. I still think is not for me. I probably gave him a round, maybe two, if that.
Really?
Yeah, I honestly felt that Terence Bud Crawford, he dictated the pace, he dictated the momentum of the fight. He was in complete control. There was not one point in the fight where he was in any type of jeopardy. And I felt that at times, he was coasting. I felt he was coasting. I felt there was more gears for Terence Crawford to go through. And for me, it was just a complete control for the whole fight.
Yeah.
And like I say, that's the superstar that Canelo is. And he's got it's Mexican Independence Day. It's all that sort of thing. And that played a part for me in the scorecards because they were never as close as that. I'm sorry, they were never as close as that. Now, it was a super fight, and there may be talk of a rematch. I don't see why there should be. I don't see why there should be, but money talks. But if you're just looking at the highlights of that fight, or you read it in a magazine or boxing news or whatnot, them scorecards suggest that that fight was way closer than it was. But you dissect that fight. Terence Crawford was in complete control from round 1 to round 12. And I honestly believe that. And like I say, and if Canelo had gears to go through and could step on it, I feel like Terence Crawford could step with it as well. Yeah. I felt that for me, he coasted it. He coasted it. I don't know what your thoughts are. Do you think it's a bit closer?
Mate, I totally agree. I watched it live at work. Obviously, I'm at work, so I do have to do something. So I was trying to watch it the best I could. Watched it again this morning. I messaged you yesterday after the fight. I said I had it 7-5. When I said the first 3 rounds, I gave them to Canelo. Don't get me wrong. Bud Crawford wasn't in any kind of trouble whatsoever. Not one part of the fight wasn't in trouble. But you've got to judge those 3 minutes through what they're doing and activity. I felt the first 3 rounds, Canelo was the more aggressive. He was looking for the shot where Bud was kind of downloading. I just don't think he'd done enough. So I had him 3 rounds down. I've got to be honest. From that point after then, I gave every other round to Bud Crawford, bar round 11. And I think round 6 was the one I changed my mind on. There's a bit of a swing round there. Looks like Terence has a little bit of a round where he's having a bit of a round off, if you like, But then obviously when you watch it back, you do see, as you just said there, the point scoring, the accuracy. I mean, everything was accurate. And we said this before about Canelo going forward. After Triple G3, I have seen a decline in Canelo. I don't mean a decline where he's getting beaten up. I've seen a decline in his feet. I've seen a decline in his hand speed. I've seen a decline in his combinations. I've seen a decline in his lateral movement. He puts fear into people. He walks forward. He stalks. He's got the reputation. And he just does enough or more than enough in some stages. He kind of puts his opponent down and then it's there in there to survive. You said it yourself. Edgar Berlanga went the distance and he had an open top party about it. Now, you can't be celebrating after going to the distance and losing to someone. Yeah. Bud Crawford's come in there. And by the way, as a 168 fighter, jumping up 2 weights, he looked fantastic. At no stage did he gas. He looked comfortable. Everything was pinpoint. Canelo looked fucking shagged from round 6. He was puffing, he was blowing, and he's supposed to be the fully fledged middleweight. But I do have sympathy for him to an extent. He's 35 now, even though Bud's 2 years older. He's 35, and he's got some fucking miles on the clock. Yeah, yes. And you can see the decline. Don't get me wrong. He's still a great champion. He's still, to me, he's come away from the elite. I think people use the word elite too much now. He's coming down from elite to world class. He's very, very hittable, and he's very, very beatable. That was a masterclass from Bud Crawford on Saturday night, and it was better than I expected. I was shitting myself because I thought if it is closer than what I suggest, it's in Vegas, it's on a Cinco de Mayo, it's in front of the judges. In front of the judges, you've got the WBC president there, Mauricio Silliman, who wipes Canelo's ass. It's gonna get the decision. And me and Dave, another podcast platform, is going to be sitting there on Monday morning or Sunday morning saying Canelo got the decision, but he never fucking won that. Yeah. And I'm glad that it went the right way. He done a Bivol on him, really. A different kind of style. Bivol's got that kind of Soviet style where he's quick hands in and out, quick hands in and out. Yeah. Points there, Dave. Terence Bud Crawford, you said that Canelo wants you to stand and trade with him. Round 9, And round 12, it was lighting him up. I was at work, especially round 9. I was going, go on, bud, fuck him up, go on. I could see Canelo, he didn't want to be in there. It looked like he didn't want to be in there. And it looked like he was relieved when it was over.
Yeah.
Now, I will never, ever kind of slag Bud Crawford off, but you just said it there about Mayweather. Got Canelo at the right time when he was very, very young, but he was still a champion when he came into that fight. So to be a champion is supposed to be very, very hard. Bud's got him at the right time.
Yeah.
Does he beat the Canelo of 5 years ago? Maybe, maybe not. But because it's elite and no one else has beat Canelo at 168, obviously Bivol was at high weight. No one's come close to beating him. He's come up, looks $1 million, looks like an Adonis, big, strong, a stone full of muscle. He's had a year to put it on great. Behind the scenes, the tactics, everything. I asked Sam on our podcast, Dave, last week, and I asked Sam, obviously you wasn't here, so you can elaborate as well. What does, even pre-fight, what does Canelo do better than Bud Crawford from his feet to the top of his head? One thing that he does now better, and we couldn't name anything. Nothing.
No, I don't. There wasn't anything, and there wasn't anything in his prime.
Punch power, possibly. I think the power looks to have wilted, Dave. I do.
But he can't. Yeah, but the power comes from setting your feet.
Correct.
And his feet are too slow.
But that's the thing. He plants his feet now. That's why he's getting too slow as well. If you notice, he sets his feet and he plants his feet as he throws. Terence Crawford. Well, what, you got the right anchor, motherfucker? Here we go. Well, countered left, bang. He hasn't got his feet are too set now.
They can see it coming. They can see it coming, so they'll just watch his feet, because when he puts his feet into a certain position, they know he's going to throw this wild. Yeah, which he's known for, that one to the body that's really wide, that he has taken people out with, don't get me wrong.
But that's what he's doing more now. That's what I'm saying. He does plant his feet to generate that power from the leg to the hips to land those big rights and those big lefts. He didn't do that as much before, in his younger days. Even 5 years ago.
He loads up with every shot now. He loads up with every shot. Yeah, because he hasn't got the engine to throw combinations and keep up and have educated pressure. He's looking to take you out with one punch in every shot that he throws now. But
a craftsman like Terence Crawford can have a cup of tea before he does it.
He sees it going mile off. And what he does is he punches with him. So when he tries to throw one of them ones, he's wide open. He gets a little a scoring shot, knocks the head back, and then he's into a different position. And that is basically what it was. And it was very Usyk-like. It was switching. It was little ones like that. He's not going in there to try and knock him out. He's point scoring with every shot, one to the body, to the head. But because Canelo's throwing not wild shots, but he's throwing ones loading up, he's wide open for the little knock his head back, and they're just all scoring shots. And it was a masterclass. It was. Like I say, I thought it was easy, and I really don't want that in a fight like this. I would like to have been more competitive, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't. It really wasn't. There was levels, and that's why I'm a little.
Do you think, Nate? Oh, go on.
I was gonna say that's why I'm a little bit not fucked off with Canelo, but I feel he was defeated before.
Oh, he tried. There was no. You just said earlier.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He did try, but I just didn't like. I've never known Canelo to be as nice as he was here. Even
but
before
you said compute. Sorry, mate. You said he couldn't compute what Terence Crawford was doing, and I think you nailed it. He couldn't. He's not one-dimensional, Terence Crawford. His switch hitting's better than Usyk's. When I say he's better than Usyk, in terms of he can finish as a southpaw, he can finish as a right-hander. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He can deal with every style, Crawford, and he can also dish it out with every style. He was he was confused. He was trying. He kept loading it. He's trying to look for the knockout punch. It's just not enough. It's not good enough. And that's what I'm saying. The decline is there. The decline is there.
100%.
This is where we see the difference, Dave, in elite, world-class, world level. Your Clay Plants, your Belangas, your Jaime Munguias, John Ryder to an extent. They're kind of world-level fringe contenders. Then you go up to world-class, and then you go to elite. Terence Crawford's he's on another planet. We are so lucky in this generation. People talk about the 80s, people talk about the 90s, but the world level, the elite fighters back in the day when we were kids or before we were born, we didn't get to see them. This weekend we've seen two, and a couple of months ago we saw the other in Usyk. We are so lucky in this generation to witness not just greatness, but elite, world level, world class, the best fighters on the planet, and they're delivering. They know how to win. They've just got that. They've got that something in them that nobody can teach. It's so good to watch, and I'm kind of glad as well that someone's knocked him off his perch. I mean, what I'm like with sanctioning bodies, mate, and belts with the fault. Don't get me wrong; it's not his fault. It's not Canelo's fault because the sanctioning bodies aren't calling for him to vacate and things like that because he's 3% of the Canelo papers. you know, get some fortunes. But I'm glad now they're fucking taken away from him. And Terence Crawford can do what he wants. But yeah,
I still believe
fantastic.
with Canelo though, in the division that he's in and the styles of the fighters that are in it, he's still a player in there.
I can't see the point now, Dave.
No, he says he wants to stay on until he's 37. So yeah, I don't see the point. He's got enough money in the bank. His legacy is set regardless of the defeat.
Yeah, you know, 1-6. I can't see the point now. Who is there to fight at 168 now? The rest of them all contenders.
Yeah.
This little guy from this super lightweight's come up and kind of he's done an Usyk really.
Yeah.
He's come through the divisions. I know Usyk went from cruiserweight to heavyweight, but no one was talking about him. No one was talking about Bud fighting at 168. He's come on and put a masterclass like Usyk done with AJ, like he's done with Tyson Fury, like I've done with Daniel Dubois. It wasn't supposed to happen, and it has. You know, so at 168, I can't see the point in Canelo fighting these contenders. Move up to 175.
We're not ones for calling for retirement here.
No.
We don't know. But what do you think Terence Crawford and Canelo are going to do next? Now, Canelo has come out and said he wants to go on until he's 37. Again, who does he fight? And you know, and what for? But what do you think they're going to do, Terence Crawford now? Because Terence Crawford's clocked it. He's completed it, mate. You know, he's three times undisputed.
5-weight world champion now, isn't he?
I mean, he surely can't go to light heavy. That's surely a step too far.
Well, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, we just said he was at 168 taking on Canelo.
I know,
you know,
but surely not.
Sport.
It is, but surely not. And Canelo, like I say, Canelo's still good enough to beat everyone else in the division, I believe. You know, because the styles of the guys in the division.
Mate, that's my point.
They're tailor-made for him. But yeah, again, what do you achieve out of it? Unless Terence Crawford gives up all the belts, and Canelo wants to try and gather them up again, but that maybe that's what'll happen.
You asked me the question. I'll tell you who I'd like to see Canelo, where I'd like to see him go next. I don't want him to be at 168 anymore. The only time I'd like to see him at 168, we've never had the chance to see him over in the UK. Obviously, there's money fights over here. Well, there's one money fight in Chris Eubank Jr. Your casuals will wank all over that all day, even though he's going to get smashed up. When we know that's a massive, massive fight to add to his nearly £1 billion pension pot. And obviously, Hamza Shiraz is the guy coming up that's supposed to be the new danger man. Can Canelo kind of calm him? Because no one's calling Hamza Shiraz elite. Let's not get silly about it. But he is a kind of a new kid on the block, if you like. I would like to see him go up to 175. He's not done just yet. There's guys up there he can beat. Sorry, mate, just to jump in before you, because I didn't want you to go off on a tangent. Would you welcome the Benavidez fight now? 100%. Of course. Yeah. Why not?
No, I'm just more thinking because obviously there is decline now. Is it the fight that we would hope it to have been? Or this is the difference. This is the difference with Benavidez and excuse me, Terence Crawford. As I just said there, David Benavidez is world class. Terence Crawford is elite. You've got to separate those two, because people are calling everybody elite. Oh, he's elite. They're not. There's 3 guys in world boxing that are now elite. There's people knocking on the door, but they're just not. Tyson Fury's not an elite fighter. He's a world-class fighter. If he's elite, what the fuck's Usyk? He's just done him twice. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So I do think I would just like to see Benavidez versus Canelo. Can he or would he? Do you know what I mean? And obviously Terence Crawford there, mate. Who knows? The guy only fights once a year. Yeah. I can't see him defending any of those belts. Maybe he does go up to 175. Maybe he does the fucking Boots Ennis fight that he was accused of running away from and being a ducker. And according to Mr. Eddie Hearn, who knows? He can do what he wants, like we said about Usyk, and obviously we'll say about Inoue as well. But they can do what they want. It's down to the sanctioning bodies to strip them or make them fight. But he's earned the right, man. And if he wants to go for a rematch as well, Dave, he ain't going to be the fucking B-side. No. It possibly will to an extent, in inverted commas, because it is Canelo, but it'd be on more than 50 fucking million. That's a fact. Yeah, 50 million for him and 150 for Canelo. I mean, it's a mad world you live in when you're thinking, 50 million is not much compared to him. Chump change to Uncle Turks, though, isn't it? Eh? Yeah, exactly. Chump change, man. Exactly. Before we move on to the undercard, obviously, we've got a lot to speak about here. We will talk about the pound for pound top 3 at the end of the show. I want Dave to sum up where his top 3 are going. Obviously, we've got another pound for pound superstar to speak about in a bit. But I just want to speak a bit about Bomac. When we talk trainers of the year, obviously his main guys is obviously Terence Bud Crawford, fights once a year.
But he's got to be an early contender, or if not, the main man to pick it up at the end of the year, whatever he does going on between now and December. Obviously, not a lot's going to happen. He's got other fighters, obviously Lester Martinez and Stephen Nelson, to name a few. But in terms of trainer of the year, mate, he's
got to be up there.
He's got to be up there for that. That's a very special victory. Yeah. You could take bits and bats out of it, and was Canelo this? Was Canelo that? Did Crawford do this? But to take him up, not just to jump up from super lightweight, then go up to welterweight and face a world champion in Madrimov and beat him and become a world champion. Then to jump up another 2 weights and take on the face of boxing.
Yeah.
And Bomax, he's got to get the credit, man.
Do you know what obviously he's been a great trainer for Terence Crawford, but just watching that, which we're going to go on to the fight next, I presume it's going to be next, would be in Billy and Martinez. I liked what he'd done in that corner for that fight. I thought he was fantastic. His corner work was amazing. If you listen to his corner work, the things that he was telling Martinez to do is exactly what we say. I'm not saying we're fucking trainers or we're like Bomac, but he was saying the same things that we say, things that happen in Billy fights when we cover him on here. Don't put yourself on the ropes. Push him back. These are all the things that we've mentioned that you should be doing. And he was saying it to him in the corner. And we're on this fight now, so I'll start as I'm already talking. A slugfest is exactly what it was. A slugfest is exactly what we called it was going to be. They both had knockout records. They both come forward, both throw lots of shots, with bad intentions. And that fight, it was a great fight. But I might surprise you here. And me and you haven't spoken about this.
No.
It was a draw, and fair enough. I can accept a draw, but I would sway slightly more to Martinez for the win, and I'll tell you for why. His inside work was way better than in Billy. The little slight uppercuts that he was catching him with when he didn't stay on the ropes, but when he was on the ropes, he was a problem on the ropes for Billy. Billy usually paws forward, high guard, throws wild hooks, gets you on it to the body, to the head. Mike Tyson sort of esque.
Yeah. Martinez
had done his homework with this. He tucked up and
he's watched the pod, Dave. He's watched the pod. He's listened to you.
Well, this is it. But he done exactly what you should do with him, Billy. And he was catching little short, sharp shots on the way in, scoring shots that was knocking him, Billy. Making him having to think, because Billy wants to get you on the ropes and just tee off. And his inside work in the fight was brilliant. And yes, it was a very, very close fight. But if I'm looking at quality of work, eye-catching shots, they came from Martinez for me.
That's fair enough, yeah.
And to be honest, I've got no problems with a draw, or if it was one either way. That fight was a really hard fight to score. However it was going to be scored, I don't think you can really dog the judges, because everyone does that. But that was more or less down to what you like. It was it was a fight in a phone box. It was, again, little short, sharp shots that some of them you wouldn't see that was picking up points. That was a hard fight to score. And I'll go as far as to say, I've said it before, I think the draw was probably fair. But, if the fine margins for me, Martinez wins that. If we're putting it down to little fine margins, I think the better work, the cleaner work, the more eye-catching shots. And yes, he was under pressure, because Billy puts you under pressure. And 9 times out of 10, Billy's opponents don't know what to do, and Billy's he's lighting them up to the body, to the head, clean work, all over him like a rash. Martinez welcomed that and had his own shots, on him, Billy, on the way in, catching him, knocking his head back as he's trying to throw his shots, knocking him off balance, and basically allowing him to do that work, but getting caught on the way. So Billy was having to think, because when Billy, don't get me wrong, and Billy, we know what you get with him, Billy. It's more or less the same combinations that he throws. It's to the body, to the head, hooks, and he gets you on the ropes, and he tees off. He was making Billy think about that, and Billy's never had to do that in the fights that we've previewed so far, where he's had to, he wants to go in and do that, but he knows he's going to get caught on the way in. So he was having to think about it, and in that, he was getting caught with shots and not. But overall, excuse me, fantastic fight. One for the, I don't say the casuals, but one for the ones that like blood and guts. It wasn't a fight for the purist. It was a blood and guts fight, which is, we welcome them as much as we welcome the other fights. Great matchup. Great clash of styles. Again, you would want to see that again. You'd throw that on any co-main or undercard. You'd have that again. It was again a phone box fight, all action, and you get that of him, Billy. But Martinez was great. And like I say, Bomac in the corner, it was almost like me and you were chatting now. All the things that we say, don't be on the ropes too long, push him back, use your jab, center of the ring, all that sort of thing. All the things that we sort of spot with him, Billy, because again, I said in it last week, we want to see how Billy is when he's pushed back. And he was pushed back. And to be honest, he's not comfortable on the back foot, because he wants to be the one that's got his head on your chest and teeing off. Fighting backwards is not for him. But if you're going to do that, you need to have an engine to match. And for me, Martinez matched him in every department. And for me, could have beat him and was unlucky.
Yeah, I can see your reasoning. And then you said we spoke about Bomac there doing homework. If you notice as well, obviously it was a phone box slugfest. Martinez was pushing on the chest. If you fight at range or he fights at distance, what does then Billy like to do? Loads up from the hips, wide swings, generates power. If you're in range of him, he's going to catch you. He's going to catch you with his best shots. So obviously, when you're up tight, he can't generate the same amount of power. Very clever homework from Bomac. I agree with everything you said there, mate. I don't like to agree all the time because it doesn't make for a great pod. It's good to disagree. But the homework was done, and Martinez did land a lot of uppercuts. How many times did Billy's head keep going back like that? Yeah. And he was marked up.
His face is marked up, yeah.
You don't see him marked up. So if you go by punch stats, I think the punch stats were in favour of Martinez as well. I remember what's in on CompuBox. Yeah. But yeah, again, is it what you're looking for? Obviously, Billy looked a lot more aggressive in his work. Martinez's work was cleaner. I do agree, but I think they should run it back because let's be honest, this was an eliminator. Billy's the WBC interim champion. They're not. Either these guys aren't getting Terence Crawford next. He's just not defending against these kind of guys. I don't think so anyway. He'll make his mind up in a year's time. That's what's going to happen. So they might just run it back. Obviously, the fight I wanted to see in this division for a long time outside Canelo is then Billy versus Pacheco. But unless Uncle Turk is involved, that fight ain't happening. Uncle Bob and Eddie is not working together because someone's going to lose their own. Yeah. So I think this is sensible. I think they should run this back. Even put it on a Saudi card. Do you know what I mean? As an undercard. It was a great fight. And even the casuals that will come out to watch, just say the events a name, a casual name. You put this as a co-main as well. So people are kind of tuning in by then. You sell it, you sell the fuck out of it. You want to see blood guts, like you said. Watch Billy versus Martinez. You could even have a fucking trilogy, man. Yeah. It was a very, very good fight. You're right. There wasn't a lot of IQ involved, but homework was done by Bomac and Martinez. And it's good to see because I said to Sam the other day, I hadn't seen him fight. I had to go and watch highlights of him to see what he's all about. Because when you matchmake it 168, Dave, no one's mentioned Lester Martinez, but they will do now.
Oh, definitely. His name's up there now, and rightly so. He put in a good performance.
Yeah.
It was again. Joe. All it lacked was a couple of knockdowns. People getting back up and knock down each. That would have been. And then you're talking about a Corrales sort of esque fight, or them type of fights that would go down in history. It was a couple of knockdowns each from each man away from being that. 10 rounds as well. Should have been 12, really. If you're talking about eliminators and that, they got to be 12 rounders for me.
Supposed to be, yeah.
But that's for another day. But no, 10 rounds, all action. Great fight. And yeah, I think they will run it back because I don't think either of them will want to settle for a draw.
But where do they go next? That's the thing. Yeah. Who do they fight next? I think a lot of people are called to see it again.
Yeah.
There'd be pro and Billy fans, there'd be pro Martinez fans, there'd be people on the fence that weren't too sure. Do you know what I mean? So personally, I thought it was a draw, but I understand what you're saying. Probably if I went back and watched it again, I'd say, well, actually, Martinez did kind of outload. The clean and effective work was coming from him. So I'd have to have that as a swing round and go towards Martinez.
The inside fighting I was impressed with. It was the inside from Martinez. I like that.
Really, really good. That actually wasn't the co-main.
No, I know.
It was actually, obviously, this was a TKO production / Super Boxer with Dana White. His first, it's his second event, is it? If you take in the Mayweather-McGregor thing a few years ago. Yeah. And obviously, me and Dave have followed Callum Walsh for a long time. Since we started doing this pod, we speak about him a lot, cover all his fights when other people don't. He's their kind of golden boy, working his way up the rankings, etc., getting into positions. He was on the big stage here. I'll put on my banner there, ladies and gentlemen, for those listening on Spotify. King Callum, obviously Callum Walsh is talking about. King Callum boxes clever, but should have made a statement. Obviously, he took on Fernando Vargas Jr., son of Senior, and obviously brother of my prospect of the year, Emiliano. On paper, it was supposed to be 50-50. I think with the bookies, Callum was not a heavy favourite, but it was, you could make a few quid off him winning if you like. Now, I gave him probably every round here, Dave.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit disappointed at not one stage did he look to kind of roll the dice and get rid of Fernando Vargas Jr. Fernando Vargas Jr. is very one-dimensional. He likes to go on the inside and throw loads of hooks. He's a puncher. That's all he is. No disrespect. He's not like the old man. He's definitely not like the brother. He's just come forward and throw lots of shots and knocks you out. And he's got a good record. I mean, he's got a good knockout ratio. So he was going to be dangerous. Callum kind of worked him out, if you like. He got caught a few times. The cut held up well. But I just think Callum was a level above. But there were certain times there he was too cautious. I was watching it going, well, go on then. You've just countered him. He's fucking open. Go for it. Everybody's watching you. The Irish are watching you. It's a packed stadium. You're the golden boy, of TKO and with Dana White and Zuffa Boxing. Fucking go for it. But whether Vargas carried power that he respected, Dave, he kind of took a step back and thought, I'm going to box cleverly. I'm going to box away to a victory. And he said himself in his post-match interview, I'm disappointed with my performance. Boxing-wise, it shouldn't have been. But maybe he's thinking down the same lines as us, because you keep saying, yeah. I thought he could have stepped on it and possibly got rid of it.
I was frustrated. I mean, it was an okay performance. I was frustrated. I felt like he could have gone up a couple of more gears. And I know I'm like you, and I was thinking, come on, Callum, come. And it just didn't seem to come. It almost felt like he was comfortable to take it the distance, and didn't want to step on it, didn't want to press for the stoppage, because it would have been an impressive stoppage if he could have got one against an undefeated fighter. I was watching Vargas, and I did want to ask you, because obviously your prospect of the year is Emiliano, and we're looking at Vargas's record. Are you concerned that the way that Emiliano's career is being navigated is that he ends up with the same sort of record, and then ends up with a prospect around the same sort of time? And could we see some deja vu here?
Well, I think with Emiliano, he's a bit more sellable, isn't he? He's better looking for a start. He rocks the mic. He's got a completely different style to his dad and his brother. He's very flashy. So he's commercially, he can be a sell, obviously with the Vargas name. The brother doesn't. When have we ever mentioned the brother on here?
No.
Never really heard. I knew he had another boxer as a son. Never seen him fight. No. He doesn't have the same kind of IQ or skill, or he's not very sellable compared to the brother. That's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
When you mentioned about profile building, showcasing, selling him, getting him to 20-0, and then letting him off the leash. So I kind of, the answer to your question is no at the moment, because I like everything that I'm seeing. It's when Bob puts his hand in his pocket to pay for someone that's going to hit Emiliano back, then we'll find out whether it is a hype job, if that's what you're really trying to say. But
no, I'm not saying it's a hype job.
Completely different.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a hype job. I just looked at the records and I thought, is this a narrative they're going for Emiliano as well? And then we're going to get to, well, I can't remember how many fights Vargas had, but obviously he's had
16
more.
Or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was like 12 knockouts or something like that. It was quite good. And then obviously, if you're looking at them ratios, them numbers, Emiliano is headed in the same sort of footsteps. And it just made me think, the way that I know we haven't spoken about the Vargas. This Vargas, sorry,
Fernando Vargas Jr.
Yeah, Fernando. Sorry, I'm fucking shit with names. Fernando. Are we looking at thinking that Emiliano's going the same route? It just looks like the trajectory is the same. Now, listen, they are different fighters. Again, you're right. Commercially different. I just wonder. It just put a little doubt in my mind. Obviously we've been waxing lyrical about Emiliano, and then we've seen that on Saturday, and I was thinking, is this what we're going to get? There's no way of knowing, because we're looking into the future. But it just put a little bit of seed of doubt in my mind, thinking, this could be what happens to Emiliano.
Yeah. Well, I hope not.
No,
I for a reason.
Oh, no.
So far, so good. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, though. But I know obviously you can't see into the future, but then you could kind of go down the same route at the same time as Ricky Hatton and Matthew Hatton, I suppose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Two different styles.
Yeah.
One was more commercially sellable than the other one. I don't know. You get my point. But yeah, to stand on this fight, mate, I thought he should have done a little bit more. Callum Walsh people speaking about him on a Sunday morning. You know what I mean? People should be saying, "Did you see Callum Walsh? Fuck me, he can fight. Fuck me, he can bang." Because we know he's got it in the armory. I just thought he was very cautious.
I'm with you. It was an opportunity on a massive platform on Netflix. Like the numbers, I haven't seen numbers come out yet, but they're going to be huge. To put his name in lights in front of people that have never seen him before. We've seen his previous fights, so we know what he can do. So we was expecting big things. I'm with you. I felt he was a little bit too cautious. Played it a little bit too safe. Wanted to coast to a points win, and then he would throw the odd combination. He's spiteful anyway. and you could see that it hurt Fernando. It made him think, and then think, I step on it, and he didn't, and he would then
going back to his old ways. He went back to his old ways, stand back and admire his work.
Yeah, and I've come away from it thinking he could have done more. Yeah. He really could have done more. Good win though against an undefeated fighter, a prospect like himself. But he seemed levels above Fernando Vargas Jr. and it seems like he could have gone more levels, and he didn't. So yeah, listen, good win. A little bit frustrated, but he moves on. And
he moves on, and obviously, according to Callum Walsh, he said as well in his post-fight interview with one of the boxing stations, Uncle Turkey's been talking about putting him on a Wembley card. It sounds like against Josh Kelly in an eliminator to fight Akhmadaliev. So that'd be interesting, Dave. Josh Kelly, obviously a completely different fighter to Vargas. He's more of a slickster, isn't he? So could be a bit of a high-level chess match there, mate. Because obviously Callum can box. We just saw him box. It's who's ready to release the trigger, if you like. So
listen, if that's the fight next, that's good, because we talk about step ups and who's next. We always ask the question. If that's where we're going, that's good. That's good. He's gone in with an undefeated fighter in Fernando Vargas, beat him comfortably, not an issue. No, I want to see the step ups now, and if that's the name that is next, great.
Just before we move over to Belfast, mate, did you see that a couple of bank accounts need to be checked? I think. From what we saw in the Saturday night, I mentioned Stephen Nelson there, Bomax fighter. We've seen him against Pacheco, and a really tough fight, but he was hard as nails. He gave it everything. You can class him as a contender, well level, not well class, anything like that. So obviously, I was on about earlier. Got stopped in the first round. I thought it was a poor stoppage, and there was an even worse one on the prelims. Marco Verdi stopping Sonat Akali. Akali was getting beat. Don't get me wrong, but Verdi landed a shot, and you just thought, he's just pushed it back. All of a sudden, the ref jumps in and waves it off in the fourth round. Now, has he seen something we haven't seen? And with Stephen Nelson as well, I thought both stoppages were absolutely dog shit.
Yeah,
they've got to be investigated.
They have to be looked at. Yeah, they're very, very premature. Referee seemed like very eager to get in.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? It's, the first sign of trouble.
That's what I'm saying about bank accounts need to be checked.
Yeah,
there transactions being made. Allegedly, I don't want to get super like, but allegedly, it doesn't look right, especially for Stephen Nelson. I mean, the first round, was he throwing back? No. Was he in danger? Well, he was getting hit. Was he vacant? Was he fuck?
Yeah.
Was he fuck? So is he going to go on the process of, because you weren't throwing back, I'm going to stop it? Well, if that's the case, then you've got to look into every, not just world title fights, every fight. You've got to, again,
Tyson Fury Usyk won.
That's what I'm saying. There's no universal fucking rules, is there? If you're going to stop him for that, you stop Usyk Fury. Come on. I felt sorry for both. But Nelson, man, come on. That was, to me, that was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And it's a shame, really, because this is like, you don't know, of an amazing event, it's soured by shit like that. But you're going to get that in it. There's always something.
Yeah. Jermaine Franklin Jr., he was on that card as well. Back to winning ways after a year out. So well done to him. But all in all, Netflix done a really good job. So I think there'll be, I think the big fights, and obviously they've got a cooperation now with a link with MVP and things like that. I think they could challenge the zone going forward, Dave.
The only thing is that I think the main event went on a bit later than it should have done, didn't it? It was near enough 6 in the morning when that went off.
Yeah. The ring walk was estimated for 4:30, so I don't know what went wrong there, but all in all, it was worth it. It was worth I mean, I was working through it anyway. I was awake anyway, so if it's the people that kind of set their alarms, it was still half asleep, I suppose. But
I usually wake up about 5, and I thought I'll stick it on. But then as I woke up, you was messaging. I thought, right, I'll wait.
But on a positive note with Netflix, Dave, you had a super fight there on one paywall. So with the Zone, you've got your subscription, and then you've got pay-per-view on top. With Netflix, you've just got your prescription. Subscriptions, subscription. Get your words out, Dave. $5.99 it starts at. You can't fucking complain at that.
Oh, definitely not. No, it was a good event. I liked it. Yeah, Mario Lopez, who was doing the main event.
Saved by the Bell, yeah.
Saved by the Bell, yeah. The Yanks are a little bit different in their build-ups, though, aren't they? They're a little bit over the top. They go into the crowd and talk to actors and all that. I'm not really into that shit, but
no, it is what it is, isn't it?
It's razzle dazzle with them, innit?
Razzle dazzle, yeah.
Here it's more, we just get straight into it, don't we?
Yeah, let's get straight into Belfast then, mate. Let's jump across the pond. Saturday night, over at Belfast. What's the arena called? The stadium? Was it Windsor Park? Sorry, excuse me. Notes all over the place. I knew it was Windsor Park from I used to follow men's football. Paddy Donovan, Lewis Crocker, part 2, full of controversy, as we know in the first one. We don't want to go over that. It was for the IBF World Welterweight Championship. The first time it's been contested by 2 Irish fighters, which is crazy because of the history Irish fighters have. And it was a vacant belt day because he Boots Ennis vacated this to move up. And they're lucky because if either of those two took on Boots Ennis, they'd have got smashed to bits. Yeah. It was an okay fight, mate. I'm going to be honest. I preferred the first fight. Again, this one, mate, was this controversial? I've got to be totally honest, right? Lewis Crocker came out, not 2.0, but we saw a different version of him. All week, Billy Nelson had been saying that he'd been poorly for the first one. Stuff had gone wrong. I'm not interested in all that. If you want to put wealth over health, that's on you. But you got beat the first time. Yes, you won by DQ, but you were getting your arse handed to you and you got stopped. But for X amount of reasons, that we know, he got the decision. Came in this time during fight week. He was very, very quiet. I thought at the weigh-in, he was pretending to have, confidence. It just looked fake to me. I thought Paddy Donovan looked very, very relaxed. I felt Paddy Donovan thought he just had to turn up again and just carry on where he left off. Yeah. Bit more lateral movement in this fight from Lewis Crocker the first 5 rounds. Paddy was biting on feints. Lewis Crocker was landing more. He was throwing more. I thought, wow, this ain't the Lewis Crocker I've been slating. This ain't the Lewis Crocker I've been saying is nowhere near world level. This ain't the Lewis Crocker that I thought lost to Conor Walker. Put him down twice, saved by the bell the second time. I thought, fucking hell, Dave. Wow, we're going to see a new world champ. I'm going to have to take back everything I saw. Yeah. And after that, he did nothing. Yeah. He did absolutely nothing. He was on the back foot. He was throwing single shots, flicking out a jab. Paddy started getting back into a rhythm. Now, people are shouting robbery at this fight. I don't think it was a robbery because I thought Lewis Crocker won the majority of the first half of the fight. But after that, he reverted. Yeah. Why didn't? Because Paddy Donovan was, after that second knockdown, his legs were wobbly. He looked vacant. He could have gone in for the kill.
That was a heavy knockdown. That heavy knockdown was a heavy knockdown, the second one.
Why didn't he run out the fucking traps and try and take him out? Everyone keeps saying, Eddie Hearn, everyone, oh, he's full of power. That's his main attribute. He's got power. He's got arsenal. He's got venom in his shots. He just come out to the centre of the ring, went on the back foot and started jabbing. Yeah. Let Paddy Donovan to recover. He weren't fully recovered, mate. Yeah. I thought it was very bizarre tactics. I've got to be honest. And I weren't impressed with either of them. I don't think either of them are. I'm just a little bit annoyed, Dave. You see by my voice, I thought Paddy Donovan should have done more. I thought he was a little bit arrogant, and obviously Lewis Crocker disappointed me. Because I want him to prove me wrong. I don't like to kind of poo-poo people because they do and I don't. But when after that second knockdown, he went backwards. He did nothing. I think he went for it in the 12th, threw a load of combinations, but I say a little too late. He ended up getting the decision, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure he should have got the decision. There again, I'm not sure what Paddy should have done, mate. What did you think about the fight?
I think that the first fight was the worst thing that could have happened to Paddy Donovan because Paddy Donovan had way too much confidence going into it. And you nailed it when you said there that he thought he would just come in and walk through it. He was lackluster in his defense. He thought he could just walk forward because there was a stop. Hands down. In the first fight, he did stop him, but it was late. So he thinks he can walk through him, and that's exactly how he approached his fight. And he got humbled twice. And the second one was a real fantastic shot. Like, say what you want about B. Nelson, he's very vocal on Twitter. He gets into arguments with people. He's good. He's good for his fighters because he backs his fighters and he talks. Yeah, not a problem with it. They done their homework in this fight. They 100% done. They went back and watched the first fight. They done their homework in this fight, and they know that Paddy Donovan leaves himself wide open when he's coming forward.
Sorry, it's kind of to interrupt. They've done their homework for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, engines and everything else probably maybe play a part. Where he got stopped in round 10 in the first fight. He's gassed. I think we spoke about him being gassed. Yeah. Maybe he's not confident in his engine, so he's trying to pace himself. I can only put it down to that. But the 2 shots that he caught him were fantastic. And Paddy Donovan walked onto him and deservedly so. I think he was too cocky. I think he was too arrogant. I think he in his mind, he was already a world champion. Yeah. And I think, and it's a mad thing to say, but I think he took Lewis Crocker lightly.
I do.
And I just think he approached it all wrong. And that is the reason why he's not sitting there with a world title around his belt, around his waist today. And that is it. It's an attitude thing that I can say. And I said it at the start of it. The first fight was the worst thing that could happen to him because had they not had the first fight and all the things that happened, there's no doubt in my mind that Paddy Donovan is world champion today. You know, he went into that fight. There was talk about Crocker's power, all that sort of stuff. In that fight, he's felt that now. So he goes into that. He's not worried. You know, I felt that I did this to him. I've done that. You know, all that sort of stuff. Had that not happened, that first fight, Paddy Donovan approaches it like he did in the first fight, and he was fantastic in the first fight. To be fair to him, you know. And so yeah, it was that was his downfall.
What about the second half of the fight? So this is what annoys me. Don't get me wrong. You got the 2 10-8s in the first half of the fight.
No, that's 4 rounds.
Yeah,
by the way, that's 4 rounds.
That's what edges the win for me. That's why I think he's got the win. But from 6 to 12, what did you think? I didn't give him another round, mate.
No, I know, and this is where the shouts are being shouted for controversial, because people were even saying in the rounds, which I don't, even in the rounds where he got knocked down, Paddy Donovan was winning them rounds. So how do you score them? Do you score them 10-8 or do you score them 10-9?
Well, it's a 10-point must system. It's always going to be a 10-8
or 9-9
rules. Yeah.
If you get knocked down in a round but still win the round, what do they score you?
9 times out of 10, it's 10-9. It's 10-8, innit? I very rarely see 9-9.
Yeah, this is what I mean. So exactly. So it's a difficult one. But if you're doing it with how we do it, he's got 4 rounds there banked, Crocker. So he needs to win 3 rounds in the fight to win it. Does he win 3 rounds in the rounds other than the ones that he scored knockdowns in the early part of the fight? Possibly. Certainly not in the second part. So listen, I don't think you could scream robbery. Listen, without the knockdowns, Paddy Donovan wins the fight easy.
Not robbery. There's a bit of controversy.
People are going crazy. People are going, how can Paddy Donovan be 2 down?
I understand the frustration, especially if you're a hardcore Paddy Donovan fan. I get it, but it's not Rob. Again, when I spoke about the word elite getting chucked out too often, the word robbery gets chucked out too often. Yeah. That's what we're doing now, mate. It's a controversial talking point. It's not robbery, but you got to think. This is why I'm more interested in your views on the second half of the fight.
Yeah,
I struggled to give him a round, Dave.
Paddy Donovan did.
8-4, I had it. 8-4, I had it. Donovan with 2 knockdowns against him as well.
So you had Donovan winning the fight.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. But he didn't do anything in the second half of the fight. You're totally right. And it's I find it a difficult one to score really because of the 2 knockdowns. But I mean, if you're going to say it's 8-4, then
8-4, 7-5. You can take a swing round.
If it's 8-4, then the only 2 rounds you give him was the 2 rounds he had the knockdowns in.
7-5, then kind of.
This is what I'm saying. This is why it's close.
And this is why you said as well. Yeah. The rounds that he got knocked down in, he was winning the rounds.
This is what I'm saying. So if you go back to the judges' scorecards, which I haven't seen, and they've given anything other than a 10-8 to Crocker, Paddy Donovan wins that fight. I think, legitimately he wins that fight. But it was a weird one because for me, Paddy Donovan did win most of the rounds. If you're gonna look over it over 12 rounds, Paddy Donovan wins most of them rounds. If you're going to dissect every round.
I know it's a hard one, isn't it?
But he gets 4 points from, or 4 rounds from the 2 knockdowns. That's more or less half that's half of his scoring. So if the judges are saying he won the first round, come out fast, it's easy for him to get past the magic 6 number that he needs. But I say
it's a weird kind of controversy we're talking about, isn't it?
It is. It's a hard one. It's a hard one because it's a difficult one to pin this on. But if you're going to dissect it, if you're going to go round for round, take out the knockdowns, take out the rounds where the knockdowns were, Paddy Donovan wins that fight. If you're going to dissect each round, he did. He was the busier. We always knew this anyway. He's the classier work, the cleaner work. I just think he got caught more in this fight than he did in the first one, because I think he just thought he could walk through him. He thought it was a done deal, and for me, Crocker done his own work. Now, again, once he caught Paddy Donovan on the way in, I felt like he was looking for that for the rest of the fight. But the second one was a serious knockdown, by the way. Paddy Donovan's legs were gone. He buckled like a newborn deer.
I know.
But yeah, I know what Paddy Donovan wants to do next. Whether he wants to push for the rematch, but I don't think he'll get it.
Mate, this will hurt him. This will 2 controversial losses to Lewis Crocker.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows he's better than. I think we all know technically he's better than him. And then I watched that on Saturday, and I said it was a good fight to an extent, but I did prefer the first one. But I watched that,
I did.
and I was looking, I was thinking, in such a weak division, in champion wise, Brian Norman Jr. must be licking his fucking lips.
Oh man,
looking at them, because he's got the equalizer to fucking put them two away. And I hate kind of being the bearer of bad news, but I come up with a good news bit and a bad news involving Lewis Crocker. So now he's the champion, which means he's the A side. If I was him now, I take that back, because I would have confidence in myself, and he probably does. You know, you look for the biggest payday available, the names that's available: Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn, Manny Pacquiao, Devin Haney, all contenders in this, right?
Yeah.
You look for the biggest payday of your career, because against any of them, without the champions, you're getting beat.
Yeah.
You don't beat any of them. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. He's not a world level fighter. That's in my opinion. There's so many chinks there in his armory. The second half of the fight, the Conor Walker fight. I know styles make fights, Dave, and it sounds like I'm digging him out, but I've just got to say how I see it. He's in a great position. Fucking milk it from what you get.
Yeah.
Because if he keeps it in house and he takes on someone like a Pat McCormack, he'll probably lose as well. So go for the big money fights. Go for a Ryan Garcia fight. You'll get so much money. Devin Haney fight. You'll get so much money as the A side. You're probably going to lose, but fuck it. You know, get in, get rich, get out.
Yeah.
Because let's see, mate, you might be mandated against someone that's ranked, 4 or 5, and probably get beat as well. So, yeah.
What I will say though, what I will say though, it's a fair play to Crocker. Look,
yes, of course.
No, it's not a dig at you. No, I know exactly what you're saying. Listen, if there's a Pacquiao fight out there, take it with fucking both hands and go.
Even bigger, mate.
It's life-changing money, and all the names that you mentioned there, and fair play. But fair play to like no one gave him a chance. No one thought he'd ever be a world champion, really, based on his previous fights. He's gone and lived the dream. He's done something that no one could ever take away from him. So hats off to him. And listen, hope he goes on and makes all the money he can, and takes it for what it is.
Yeah.
Because he's achieved something amazing, and listen, if you're going to go, listen, you can't really, but if you're going to go based on attitude, then fair play to him. Because, like I say, for me, he's the one that done the homework. He was better than he was in the first fight. I think Donovan was worse. And for me, it boils down to attitude. I think, So,
Cocky, hands down. I've already won this.
And this is why he's not world champion, and Lewis Crocker is. So fair play. And whatever. Yeah, listen, against the guys you're talking about there. I'm going in with we talk about world class and stuff like that. They're up there, but he's been screaming. Well, I say screaming. He's mentioned Conor Benn's name. If I was Conor Benn, I'd be looking at taking that fight rapid. That's a chance to be world champion.
Agree. Yeah, you agree. No matter what you think of Conor Benn, I agree with that, mate.
Yeah.
It could be cannon fodder for him. He's a little pit bull, isn't he? So
yeah.
Mate. Just quickly to end on this card before we move over to Japan. Did you see anything of keeping Ayago against Davis?
Yeah, good fight.
What did you think of that? I mean, I had Ish up quite comfortably. Ayago came back into it. He got a knockdown in the 12. He kind of threw it away. And I put something on Twitter about his trainer slapping him in the corner.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Fucking, what the fuck you doing? And people were complaining. I'm like, no. They've had a 10 to 12 week camp. They put so much into this. Man, he's come off two defeats in 3 or something like that. Ishmael Davis. They're doing everything right. Wake up, do what we've told you, and fucking go and go and implement what we've told you. You're throwing this away, sort of thing. Yeah. I thought it was great corner work. Honestly,
it was. Yeah.
For him. He got he didn't get the defeat, the win. I thought he'd just done enough, Dave. I know he kind of threw it away back into the fight, but. I thought that knockdown in the 12th, I think that was enough for him to get it. He obviously didn't. He went to Adiarco, but what did you think?
I thought it was a really good fight. We talk about Rock'em Sock'ems. It was a very to and fro fight, and I could see that one happening again. I really can see that one up again. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Ishmael Davis probably just done enough, but it was an hard one. Going on to the trainer, we spoke about Diego Corrales earlier on. He did that just before he went out and stopped Castillo. Way back when, there was a lot of shouting in the corners, and sometimes it's needed. Listen, it depends on the person. People can't take that. Some person need that. So obviously they've known each other for a long time. They work with each other. Listen, he doesn't slap him or tell him that if he doesn't think that it will benefit him. But I enjoyed the fight. Really, I thought it was close. Aguiago's eye was busted. more or less closed. Ishmael Davis, yeah, you would have thought that for the experience that he's had, being brought in late on these Turkey cards, that he'd be a level above. But I think he got drawn into a fight he probably didn't need to, and it became close. And it was, unfortunately, he didn't get the decision, but good fight overall.
I forgot to mention there on the last card. Obviously, he fought Boyachuk, didn't he? Boyachuk lost again to Brandon Adams. I forgot to mention that on Saturday night.
Yeah,
somehow Brandon Adams, that's ranked 135 in the world, has got his number. Mad.
I know.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he deserves to win as well,
fights, my friend. Yeah, stars make fights.
Pat Brown made it 4-0, looking very impressive with what's in front of him. Big puncher. I like what I've seen with him. Tyrone McKellar against Dylan Moran. That was another slugfest.
That was a good fight,
Really good fight for what it was. And just quickly, mate, Molly McCann's debut. What did you make of that? I think she could be a good addition.
I was going to say this. And I'll tell you for why. We talk about women not having spite and power and stuff. The fact that Molly McCann's come from the UFC, which is fucking brutal, I think if she brings that spite into the boxing ring and starts getting knockouts and stuff like that, she'll be a fan's favourite, because women are women, and we don't get a lot of knockouts, we don't get a lot of high rollers, and sometimes people don't want to see that. But I think Molly McCann brings in that type of fierceness into boxing, I think it's only a good thing.
She was switch hitting in her debut.
And then she was fighting a kickboxer who kicked her, didn't she, in the corner? I thought, oh my God, what's happening here? But
I thought she was going to take her down, because obviously two MMA. I think she was an ex-kickboxer who goes against Molly, an ex-MMA fighter. So
they could have just turned into a different sport there and then.
I was impressed with the aggression of her. And don't get me wrong, I think she's got a 10-fight deal over 2 years of Eddie. Eddie's brought her in for commercial value, nothing more, nothing less. And I said to Sam the other day, there's going to be a point. She's obviously fighting a bantamweight / super bantamweight. She's going to meet TMA Ayton. There's going to be a trajectory there against the old guard, the old ex-MMA guard. She will win fights. She probably will win a version of the title against this superstar of women's boxing that's coming up. You can sell a narrative there. Do you know what I mean? So I was impressed with what I saw of her, Molly.
I was.
Seeing her again, mate. So
she's a scouser as well. So they probably started off boxing, same as
she did. She was an ABA champion.
That's what I mean. Paddy the Baddy. So they've got the fundamentals anyway. So and with the women's division being what it is, I think she'll do well.
Yeah, I do. I think she's good addition, mate. I really do. Right, this is the weekend of undisputed fights. Briefly, opening there, we spoke about Naoya Inoue doing his thing on Sunday morning. Unfortunately, this was on fucking Facebook. I mean, look, I know Top Rank haven't got a TV deal at the moment. I think it's only Golden Boy that have got a TV deal. It's a streaming deal, isn't it, with DAZN? But an undisputed superstar, yes, he hasn't crossed over to the mainstream in the West yet, but in Japan, he's on the same kind of money as Canelo. I think he earned more than Anthony Joshua last year or something daft like that, even through sponsors. I know I knew a fighting on Facebook. I know it's accessible to people, mate, but come on.
It weren't accessible to me.
It's a bit disrespectful, but I know it is what it is. It's obviously on the Top Rank. They haven't got a TV deal, but we did get to see it. Unfortunately, you didn't. You've obviously had to catch up watching it.
Yeah.
Mate, we've called for this fight for ages. We all know how world-class / elite Inoue is. I think we know he's in the elite bracket. MJ was the best of the rest. Should have caused him some problems. Was supposed to cause him some problems. Eddie's been banging the drum for months and months and months. How Inoue's ducked him. He's been running away. They've had to go through court proceedings to get this fight for the WBA. Okay, that's fine. If he's ducking him, let's see why.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything on Sunday morning. I was texting you as I was watching it coming back from football. And Inoue, again, won every round for me. MJ had his moments, but when he was throwing the single shots, Inoue was coming back with 3s and 4s.
Yeah.
And he was going, come on in. Inoue's going, come on in. So
they're both doing that,
and then, all right, that's all you got. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Pushing him against the rope, body to head, head to body. I've got to be honest, MJ's got some fucking chin. Because there's no way I thought it'd see it out. I thought at one stage he'll take the knee. He can't take that much pressure. And Inoue kind of went, you've got like a slab of a head for some reason. I can't get rid of you. So I start attacking the body. You see him wincing against the ropes and throwing off the ropes. Inoue making him miss. Inoue's boxing skills are so underrated. People just see him as this monster power puncher, which he is, but his skill set, like Crawford,
hand speed.
Fucking, mate, it's wankable. He's one of the best fighters on the planet. And I enjoyed every second of watching him on Sunday morning. I was disappointed at MJ.
I was going to say that.
This is Inoue.
Yeah.
This is Inoue.
I was going to say that. Like, obviously, we've all been talking about MJ fighting him. This is the fight we won. This is what I feel like. I feel like he didn't turn up, but
wasn't allowed to.
That's what I'm saying. Is it the fact that he couldn't, or the fact that we didn't? All the hype around him was never there. But Inoue's on a different stratosphere to anyone in that division now. Like, we've called for the MJs, we've called for all these fighters, and he's just dismantled them. He's just made them look silly. The only fight now is to have is Nakatani. That is the only fight. Yeah, only fight I want to see. His hand speed's ridiculous. His spatial awareness is ridiculous. They were both calling each other on, and you said there, MJ's throwing a single shot, and by the time he's thrown that single shot, he's been hit with 3. Boom, boom, boom. And it was just amazing. And do you know what? It was made to look easy. The monster had almost like giving it like, oh, is this the guy that you've put in front of me? Like, you know, like it wasn't
after
even
all the shit you've been saying about me.
It wasn't even Inoue's hardest fight.
No, Tapales gave him more trouble.
Yeah, and he's just a cut above the rest, mate. He's pure class. It's a shit that was on Facebook because I don't have Facebook. I've since went back and watched it, and it was. I'm with you. It was a complete shutout. Again, MJ had the odd moment where he caught him with a single shot. Okay, best shot of the fight was
right at the end of the 12th, right on the bell. MJ caught him flush, and it was a massive shot. Apart from that, no. Yeah. Just everything MJ threw at him, and Inoue allowed it. He just had it all up.
Yeah, and you nailed it there. He allowed him. Again, we talk about stepping on the gas, and there was levels. Inoue could have stepped up. I think if MJ would have had more about him and more in the tank, I think Inoue would have gone with him. And it's almost like he was comfortable with everything that was coming his way, and he was sort of enjoying it. And they were both goading each other and doing all that sort of stuff. But Inoue was on top of all of that. He beat him to absolutely everything. His hand speed was better, his footwork was better. He's just better than anyone in that division by far. Yeah. And there's only one fight to make. And this is what we said about MJ, but now we're saying about Nakatani.
It annoys me because you've seen what's going on now. Uncle Turkey, for how much we love him, he's trying to do a Inoue versus David Picasso out in Saudi or Vegas or whatever, and putting Nakatani on the undercard against someone. Fuck off. We're not interested in semi-finals. We're not. If you want to do that, then fair enough. We're not going to kind of poo-poo for you, but we don't need that. Yeah. We need them now, both in their prime. We need Nakatani to step up to Super Bantam and take on each other in Japan. Why not be involved with Uncle Honda over in Japan? I couldn't care less about David Picasso and whoever Nakatani's fighting. Some bum that he's going to spark out in 2 or 3 rounds. Yeah. Why are we doing Why are we doing semi-finals? Get them together now for the new year in Japan, 2026. I don't understand. Why do we need Inoue versus David Picasso?
David Picasso must have step aside money or something. Not that it was. I don't think he was mandatory for anything. But
no, it's only voluntary, isn't it?
His name's been branded about a little bit, so I reckon that he was booked in for this time, and everyone's screaming at MJ, and they said, "Listen, just move aside for this one, and we'll give you that." That's why that's still happening, because there's no way in the world that David Picasso, anyone's screaming for that. So it must have been, listen, just step aside this one. We'll give you a couple of quid. Come back at the new year.
Nakatani was there. He called him out in Japanese. Did you see it?
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
No idea what he said, but I kind of got what he said.
Yeah. But no, good. This is what we want, and that fight will happen. I'm certain of it.
It has to happen.
Yeah,
there's too many that's got away so far. Obviously, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, that hasn't got away as of yet. But Joshua's past his prime now. Fury's come off the back of 2 defeats. Amir Khan, Kell Brook, we had it too late. Mayweather, Pacquiao, too late, and the late Ricky Hatton. I think back in the day, we all wanted Ricky Hatton versus Junior Witter.
Yeah.
It never happened, these domestic clashes. So, it's got to happen sooner or later, mate. But, fair fucks to the monster. Elite as they come. Just to finish off, we started on Friday night, Saturday morning for us here in the UK. We're talking about the legend, Roman Alberto Luna Gonzalez, a.k.a. Chocolatito. He was in action in his hometown of Managua, Nicaragua. Fights once a year now. Don't blame him. He's 38. He's speaking about fighting for another world title. 4-weight world champion, going up to 5. Had a bit of a knock here against Robles. Yeah. Made our predictions last week. Me, yourself, and Sam. He's too good. Even at 38, he's got enough in the tank against this guy. I've written there in the banner, mate. The Chocolatito, obviously chocolate, is finally melting.
Yeah.
Possibly got away with one on Saturday morning. I wasn't impressed. We talk about Canelo and his decline, the slowness at the age that he is now. It was just slow motion. He was getting tagged far too much. The output wasn't as much as and I'm not kind of poo-pooing him. Father time doesn't wait for everyone. He's inactive. He's rusty. He's not. This guy should have been able to lace his boots 5 or 6 years ago.
No.
You know, the legend that he is, the career that he's had, he still thinks he can do it. A fair play. He got the decision. Maybe he did win. Maybe he did play 1 or 2 rounds, whatever. But it shouldn't have been as close as it was.
No.
He maybe got away with one. And as we said last week, where does he go? He obviously wants to carry on. He's moving up. If he wants to move up and be a 5-time world champion, that's Nakatani's division. Forget it. I don't know if you can take the power. The powers definitely looks to have wilted a little bit. I mean, and Bam Rodriguez now. I know Bam's. I know he doesn't want to go down that route because Chocolatito's his hero, his idol. If he wanted the quartet, Chocolatito's the only one left for Bam. It'd put him in a coffin. It's a bit. Is sad the right word? I don't know. I can. It's not long now. I was the worst version I've seen of Chocolatito, Dave, from Saturday morning.
Yeah, well, it wasn't great, mate. It's meant to be a run of the mill win for him. You know, like I say, get off the ring, rust, come out, start screaming some names. I really hope he reflects off of that win, that fight at the weekend, and really takes a long look at himself and says, has he really got it left? Because he made way too much hard work than he needed to, and he could have come up a cropper there. Like you said, his whole career was based on quick feet, output. The engine. Them light divisions, the lower division guys. They're all about speed and power. No, speed and quickness, and an engine. And going 12 hours, it's just punches in bunches, and like you said there, slow motion. Not quick enough. It just seems to be a lot of decline, and like I say, I just want him to. I just hope that he reflects and thinks maybe I don't have it anymore, because what I worry about is that if he goes into a meaningful fight, it could end badly, and I don't want that for him. He's a legend of the sport. So we'll just see. But this guy was more or less a journeyman when he's had like 9 defeats, and his record wasn't great. This was just meant to be.
Boxrec didn't even have a photograph for him, so that kind of tells you what level he was at.
But it might be a blessing in disguise, because maybe this is what he's needed to realise that maybe he doesn't have it anymore. But
he wants to move up a weight. I mean, what did we say about boxers? They can't let nothing go. Yeah. That should, like you just said, I agree. It could be a warning sign that it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And he wants to jump up.
It wasn't great. Like I say, everything that he'd done great, which made him so successful, doesn't seem to be there anymore.
No.
And then, like you said, father time. That's father time there. That is just age catching up with you. You can't at 38. You can't move like that. Listen, if you want to change your style and perfect a different style that's effective, that's fine. But in the lower weights like you've got there, you can't do that. It's based on pure output and engine. And if them two things are slowing down, you're in trouble in them lower weights, because there's always a young buck that's coming up that's got all that.
Rodriguez.
You can't put him anywhere near Bam Rodriguez based on that performance. Even before that performance, we didn't want it. No. But it's seeing that now, Bam Rodriguez cannot go anywhere near him, unfortunately.
Yeah. So it's amazing. We've had this weekend, we've seen 2 elite fighters get better and 2 former elite fighters get worse. It sums up the weekend, really, mate. But all in all, great weekend. I mean, performance of the weekend is it a silly question, mate? I mean,
it's I'm gonna go for Lewis Crocker. No, it's Terence Crawford. Has to be. Easy, that one.
Yeah, it's very, very easy. And just to end, I did say at the beginning of the show, we would speak about, I want your opinion on your top 3 now, and what order it goes. And we've seen Nakatani. Well, he's in the pound for pound top 15, anyway. But we've obviously seen Inoue on Sunday. We saw Terence Crawford on Saturday, and 2 months ago we saw Alexander Usyk doing what he does best as well. Where do they rank now, mate? Obviously, we normally do our pound for pound at the new year when we do our review show. But now you've got they've all fought recently. Well, where do they stand right for you at this present moment, should I say?
I'm going to go for number 1. No, I'll do 3. So I'll go 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm going to go for number 3, which is not his fault. I'm going to go for Naoya Inoue. I expected more of MJ. So I'm going to go for Naoya Inoue at 3. Unfortunately, it pains me to say this: Alexander Usyk at 2. Terence Crawford as 1. And I say that I'm quite happy for them 3 to move around. Canelo's he was the face of boxing. Probably still is. You can't take anything away. That's an elite win. If you're going to base it on their previous wins, Canelo is a bigger name than Tyson Fury and MJ Akhmadaliev. So I'm going to base it on that as elite wins. For me, unfortunately, for Canelo, he falls out the top 10 now. So we usually do our top 10 based on the end of the year, which we will do. I don't see Canelo being in it. Well, he definitely ain't going to be in mine.
Tank Davis in yours?
No.
That's good to say.
If he beats Jake Paul, he'd go number 1.
See, it's a great conversation. It's a great debate. Obviously,
what's yours?
Well, I've got a no 83 for exactly the same reasons as you. Level of opponent. Again, it's not his fault. With Usyk and Crawford, because Crawford's jumped up 2 weights. Well, really, it's 3, isn't it? If you count Madrimov as well and winning a world title.
If you're counting where he started,
exactly,
it's more than 3. It's more than 3.
It's more than 3. Exactly, 5-weight world champion. So it's hard, and to beat Canelo in his first fight at 168 without any kind of warm up, to beat the face of boxing, a guy that's still dangerous, carrying all 4 belts, hasn't lost in God knows how long at his weight. It's hard not to. But then I look at Usyk being a cruiserweight, coming up in such a short space of time.
Yeah.
To become undisputed, not once but twice at heavyweight.
Yeah, but then Crawford's 3 times undisputed though.
I know.
So
it's a hard one. It's such a because it's a mythical list as well. There's no right answer. But then I look at Alexander Usyk having to put on weight from 14 stone 4 to put it on not so much naturally in that short space of time to fight a guy that weighs 20 stone. We talk about weight differences. That's even bigger. And to do it convincingly as well. So I've got them level, but I never sit on the fence in this podcast, guys. I'm going to be honest. My bias just goes with Usyk.
Ah, fair enough. Fair enough. I knew it'd be a tough one to topple him on yours.
I think
I'm doing it based on the rest. Yeah.
But I think if Terence Crawford was a bit more active, I've no doubt that he would.
Activity again. If we're going to go on activity, now I knew he's number 1.
Yeah, it's third. Yeah, 100% agree. It's his third fight.
Exactly. And he's going to fight. He's going to fight by the end of the year as well. He's going to fight on New Year's Eve, isn't he?
That's fair.
So if we're going to do it based on activity, then I knew he's always going to be number 1.
Yeah, what a great debate, mate.
I know it's great, isn't it?
We'd have to tell you what. We'd have to do a show with the SW Fight Ad boys, and do a pound for pound top 10 debate. See where we put who and where.
Yeah. For
the new year, that'd be fantastic. So yeah,
definitely.
So yeah, mate, that's the end of the episode. End of 144. Unless you've got anything else to add, mate.
Nope. I think we covered everything. It was sad start, but we've got the juices flowing with a fantastic weekend of boxing with the pound for pound greats all fighting. So yeah.
So as we know, we're back rocking and rolling. Dave is here to stay. We normally do 2 episodes on a Monday now, so we're going to log off on this one and we're going to jump into our predictions and a bit of David McDonald for the week coming. There's not a lot going on this weekend, so it shouldn't be as long as this 1 hour 30. So we're going to put this one out, the next one out on Thursday. So wherever you listen to this one will be out tonight, as in Monday. But Dave's yawning there, so you're going to get himself a drink, I think. I'm going to be back with him in 10 minutes. But the rest of you guys, have a great weekend. Like, share and subscribe, by the way, via YouTube and Spotify. Don't forget that. Have a great week and a great weekend. Stay safe and enjoy the boxing. Dave, I'll catch you in a minute, mate.
Take care, mate.
Masses, peace out.